Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Acupuncture's My Life. Now, I'm glad to hear that many of you globally are feeling so much better after hearing the last podcast on certain habits, everyday habits for most of you, that are making you more forgetful. Because I understand, and I've received so many messages on the Acupuncture's My Life app, where many were initially attributing it to age and realizing that it may have something to do with simple things like multitasking and not getting enough sleep. There were a few of you who understood drinking alcohol plays a part, but then many of you were unaware that not exercising can affect memory. And yes, that is so true. But listen, owning the Acupuncture's My Life app is so beneficial. In many ways. So download it. It's free at your app store. Now, in continuing this discussion, and this is going to be the final part, because like I said, I have tons of topics to discuss, to go over. So, I've fallen behind, so I want to get to those topics, those requests from many individuals from 5 different continents, and it's just being fair. But to continue this discussion on certain things that are making you more forgetful, it's affecting your memory, many are unaware is that certain medications can do that. And if your physician has prescribed a certain medication or medications for you to be on, you need to speak to that person, your doctor, to find out if it can affect your memory, if you feel that you're forgetting a lot. Of course, you sit with an acupuncturist, we'd be able to tell you as well. And this is why I say it's super beneficial for you to, along with seeing a physician for annual checkups and blood work and so forth, it's good to see an acupuncturist for regular wellness visits. Okay? But yes, taking certain medications, it can be a side effect. Medications like, let's say, antidepressants, blood pressure stabilizers, allergy medications, and more can affect your memory because it contains sedative properties. And there's so many of you that are unaware of that. And there are other medications that can make you more forgetful, such as benzodiazepines, cholesterol lowering drugs, anti-epileptic agents, what else? Narcotic painkillers, antihypertensive drugs, incontinent medications, antihistamines, and more. See an acupuncturist. If you're on any of these drugs, you should be sitting with an acupuncturist. Yes, visit your physician periodically, or at least annually. But definitely see an acupuncturist. Because there are some medications, and there are some medications that only impair your memory when you take them. And there are those that can have long-lasting effects. Again, this is why I said it's important to discuss this with the prescribing physician, as well as your acupuncturist. But now the other, as you already know, and I'm going to keep saying this like forever, is drinking alcohol. Alcohol can affect your memory. Why? Because it damages brain cells, which can lead to memory problems. And also, long-term drinking can actually decrease the size of your brain. And many of you are unaware of that. Like if you're a binge drinker, you tend to binge drink, you're more likely to experience both short and long-term memory loss. Because alcohol impacts the hippocampus part of your brain. And that part of your brain is largely responsible for learning as well as memory. And alcohol can affect the nerves within the hippocampus, leading to forgetfulness. And also heavy drinking can lead to a deficiency in certain vitamins and minerals, which can also lead to forgetfulness. So if you listen to Acupuncture is My Life podcast regularly, and you listen to the different ways in which alcohol is damaging or can damage you physically, mentally, as well as spiritually, you should want to stop. And if you're struggling with it, again, see an acupuncturist. There's certain protocols to treat alcohol addiction. Another is smoking. You want to stop. And once you kick that habit, you'll notice a change in memory, because smoking also damages brain cells. And it also stops new ones from forming in the hippocampus, which tends to lead to forgetfulness. You see, chronic smoking as well as chronic exposure to cigarette smoke can impair the brain mechanisms that are related to learning and memory, along with impairing lung and heart function, slowing oxygen transport to the brain, because the less oxygen in your brain can lead to less brain function, causing memory loss. And this can also happen as a result of THC and marijuana as well. And I know many of you are going to be pissed to hear this. And smoking marijuana has been proven. Studies show that it can produce short-term issues with working memory, as well as attention, your ability to be able to pay attention. And your problem gets worse the more you smoke. So you see, marijuana also, it can cause issues with memory and learning just after a few weeks of smoking. So if you have a problem discontinuing or quitting smoking, see an acupuncturist. These things are important, because health is wealth. Again, the wealth, it's not in an app on your phone. It's not in a cryptocurrency account. The wealth is not in the bank. It's not safe. It's not your wallet. It's not in your purse. It's not in your pocket. The wealth is also not under your mattress or under the doghouse in the backyard, nor is it in a shoebox in the closet. The wealth is in you. And this is why you listen to Acupuncture is My Life podcasts. But guess what else can impact your memory? Which is, again, why I say you should see an acupuncturist for regular wellness visits throughout the year. Not eating certain foods. And this is where Eastern nutrition consultations will come in, because food impacts the brain. Whatever we eat impacts how we feel mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally. And this is, again, why balance is important. And a diet that's lacking balance can or tends to impact the body in a negative way. Yin and yang. It's about balance. And there are certain foods that are great for the brain. Seeing acupuncturists. But they're like, let's just say, leafy vegetables, berries, fatty fish, tea, walnuts, just to name a few. You want to eat a diet that's rich in anti-inflammatory foods. And that includes vegetables and fruits and legumes and whole grains and healthy fats. See an acupuncturist. Another is being disorganized. You see, being organized is extremely important when it comes to memory. And we're more likely to forget things when our surrounding environment is like chaotic. And there are those that like their surrounding environment to be chaotic, and you're going to hear those that say, it helps them. Whatever works for you. But if it doesn't, organize. Find a system that best suits you. Okay? Find a system that best suits you. Another is, as a result of not seeing an acupuncturist on a regular basis, you can be walking around with untreated mental health issues. Anxiety, depression. These mental and emotional disorders can impair concentration. It can make it difficult for you to pay attention to detail. People that have suffered trauma survivors, tend to have impaired memory. It's because the way in which it taxes your nervous system. Chronic stress, anxiety, depression. These disorders can negatively impact attention, memory, learning. So it's important that if you feel that you're suffering from some type of mental health issue, see an acupuncturist. It's important that you do so. Another thing that can help with forgetfulness is stimulating your brain. Keeping your brain active. I know I speak a lot about, being physically active, exercise, moving around as much as possible. But keeping your brain active is just as important. You always want to learn new things, do puzzles, read, things that stimulate the mind to work. Because your brain is a muscle and you want to keep it in shape as well. It's important. You can train your brain through mnemonic devices, banishing cues, so many ways. But exercising the brain is just as important as exercising your body. But there are certain key signs that you should look out for. Do you ever notice yourself asking the same question to someone over and over again? Have you ever been places that you've been many times and you get lost? You're like, what am I doing here? Which way should I go for this? You find yourself having trouble following directions or remembering the ingredients to something you've cooked often. You ever find yourself feeling confused about a place in which you're at, or people, or time? These are indicators that you should get to an acupuncturist right away. These are key indicators that you should get to an acupuncturist right away. Super important. There was someone who messaged me on the Acupuncture is My Life app. Asking, after listening to the last episode, what are some things that they can do to protect their brain from memory loss. You know what? I'm going to do a separate episode on that. You know, because this is a big problem globally. I'm going to do the next episode, I'm going to discuss that. But in the interim, just simply make acupuncture a part of your life. It's for your benefit. It's for your benefit. Because acupuncture is my life. What's yours?